All right, these are pictures of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's entourage right now. In fact, he is at the residence, the private home of President Joe Biden. This is the private residence of President Joe Biden, and these are pictures coming in of them meeting right now. Okay, they shake hands and there they hug. These are pictures of a warm embrace of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and US President Joe Biden holding hands. They are, in fact, at the private home right now, where they get through the door and go inside the house of US President Joe Biden in Delaware, the private residence of American President Joe Biden right now, shaking hands, and then the hug from Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And it's a warm embrace as President Joe Biden leads Prime Minister Narendra Modi to his residence, to his home. Pictures are from a while ago. These are pictures of the meeting between President Joe Biden and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and the bilateral schedule between the two world leaders has now started. Pictures are from a few moments ago, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi met with President Joe Biden, embraced, and then they have in fact gone inside the private home of President Joe Biden. President Joe Biden has welcomed Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his private residence in Delaware. The two world leaders are in a bilateral meeting as we speak, a part of the three-day visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, after which there will be in fact the Quad Summit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will then be in fact moving to New York, where there will be a formal meeting with members of the Indian diaspora, and then an address at the United Nations General Assembly. Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the US for a three-day visit. This is Prime Minister's first visit to the US since he took oath for the third time. He's met with the Indian diaspora, and these are pictures of the Prime Minister right now meeting President Joe Biden at his private residence in Delaware. A bilateral which has started as we speak, which is underway as we speak, after which there will be the Quad Summit. All right, these are pictures coming in of the Prime Minister at the private residence of President Joe Biden. The Prime Minister has arrived in the US for the Quad Summit, also later set to address the UN General Assembly, but before that a meeting with President Joe Biden. These are pictures of President Joe Biden's hometown, essentially his private residence in Wilmington. The bilateral with US President Joe Biden and other world leaders also on the margins of the Quad Summit in Delaware. And as far as the involvement in the discussions concerned, the US delegation, Antony Blinken, the Secretary of State, Jake Sullivan, Assistant to the President for National Security Affairs, Eric Garcetti, Ambassador of the United States to India. And as far as the Indian delegation is concerned, Dr. S. Jaishankar, External Affairs Minister, Dr. Vinay Mohan Kwatra, Ambassador of India to the United States, and Mr. Vikram Misri is the Foreign Secretary. These are the members of the delegation who are going to be present in these talks.